before this match starts, I have a quick disclaimer. When we were playing this game, it was after the 4 games against the quick white deck, and it was late in the evening and night was falling, and my recording equipment was running out of juice. So that was a big mistake because I hadn't brought my recharger. I was surprised at how much battery it took to record these sessions. So in the future, I'll make sure to bring a recharger so this doesn't happen again. And it was a darn shame because there was some pretty good, long and evenly matched games. But me and Henry will play again in the future, and we'll have more to discuss then. For now, there are the 2 starting games are recorded and ready to go, and we will at least have those. And I have won the roll-off to start. I start pretty meekly with a basic swamp, and he starts better with a soul ring. I follow up with a Library of Alexandria, which could be okay, but I'm not within range yet as I started as I was on the play. He follows up immediately, as I remember, with Blood Moon. Yeah, just shuts me down immediately. I was surprised to realize that he played with several of those bad boys in his main deck. That was quite annoying. In theory, it shouldn't be so bad for me as I have several basic swamps in the deck and play red, and I also have dark rituals, but I need at least 2 black sources for the deck to function properly. And 3, then I have no trouble at all. So I use a dark ritual into Underworld Dreams, as I figured this would be the hardest one to play without a ritual, considering the current Blood Moon conditions. And he just immediately disenchants it and follows up with the book. And I get more special lands that are mountains, so I just stack them all up, like you see. And he plays a sushi and starts drawing. I'm actually completely paralyzed by only having access to 1 black mana. Then I draw Buxted Ruby, which was probably the worst kind of mana source I could ever get, as I have plenty of red mana at the moment. And it just continues to smack me around with that sushi. And I just can't draw a basic land for the life to save my life. And he just continues to draw before his turn. And now I'm well within killing range for him. He's considering Chain Lightning me. And he does. I'm not sure I agree with that play, as he couldn't know if I had a bolt in hand. And I didn't, so I just Chain Lightning him back. If I had a bolt, I could have removed his threat by redirecting the Chain Lightning and using my own bolt to remove the sushi. So I think this was premature on his part. He should have waited and just for a turn and just blew me away there. But anyway, it didn't matter, as I couldn't draw a second basic land. So that was a quick game. Lost to a Blood Moon and my inability to draw more than 1 basic land in that game. Oh well. It's all good, all fair. That's just the way the game is sometimes. For the next round, I am on the play again, as I lost the previous match. In the beginning, I'm contemplating whether going into a Dark Ritual into a Spectre or waiting a turn and trying to go for a Jusum Djinn. I think, or perhaps the option is turn 1 Underworld Dreams, but I elect to wait a turn and then go for the Jusum to try something different. So this is always yeah, one of the reasons for it was that he started with a mountain, so he couldn't put out a white knight as a response. So that was one of the reasons I went for the juicer. And yeah, he makes a circular protection black. This is after sideboarding, obviously. But the juicer has touched him once. And now I can still go in with the factory and also but I am going for the Chaos Orb play, contemplating whether he can disenchant it if I activate it, but I know that the longer I wait, the bigger the risk is that he has that he draws into a disenchant, so might as well go for it now, before he draws a card. He tells me that he's activating his Circle of Protection before damage and targeting the Jusum Djinn, and that way even if I kill the Circle of Protection, he is protected against the Jusum. And I didn't know you could do that, but he makes a compelling case, and I imagine that's just how it works. Anyway, that's what we decide on anyway. So he's protected from it for this turn, and the next turn he just follows up with a white knight. So here I am again staring down a white knight with my Jusum Djinn, and I can't get in with the factory either. And he has bolted my Spectre, so I have nothing more to do than put out a Sol Ring and keeping the factory ready in case he decides to attack with the knight, and then slowly dying to my own Jusum Djinn. This is becoming quite a habit for these past few games. And another white knight. So I do a ritual into an Underworld Dream, so at least I have some sort of clock on him as well. So it's just a big stare down and slow, painful death for the both of us, and he attacks with his knight. I know he has some response, but I elect to block with the factory, and he disenchants it. Why he didn't disenchant the Underworld Dreams, I'm not entirely sure, but I guess a case could be made for that play he did. And I draw into another factory, and we're still just staring at each other. And now he plays a Karma. So yeah, that is kind of a disaster actually. Now I'm taking 3 damage a turn. And that's one turn too late. Too bad. It's like, sometimes it's just these small details that can almost make or break a game. As I said in the previous recording of the match against the Quick White, against primarily a white deck, it usually comes down to who gets the Karma or the Gloom down first. So this time I was on, I draw the short stick. I drew the short stick here. So I get a Mace of Ith. Doesn't really change my position that much. I suppose my defense is a bit better, but it's not enough, because the Karma will just kill me. And my own Jusum as well. And Henrik is reminding me to take my damage as a man, and I reluctantly do so. No, I just forgot it. So I suppose I don't know what we're talking about here, but trying to figure out how on earth I'm going to get through 2 white knights before that Karma kills me, and there's no easy way out. And oh yeah, he wanted to activate his land tax here, but it turns out that I tell him that we have the same number of lands, and he hadn't anticipated that, or he hadn't seen that. So yeah, it's just a waiting game with me slowly choking on my own swamps. And Henrik is considering doing something. If I was him, I would just sit back and relax. But plays a blood moon, I suppose that relieves some of the pressure. Because my underground sea is now a mountain. And I can now bolt because I have mountains everywhere. But I don't have a factory and I don't have a maze. So it actually slows my death down a small bit. But still, next turn he can just attack me with the Black Knight, and I can't block with the factory as it's a mountain. And the situation is like a mirror of the last game. I only have one swamp. So that reduces my effectiveness a lot. Play a second Gloom. That's all I can do. Not that it matters at this point. And he just bolts me. So that's it. Packing it up. And we had several games after this one. I think we went back and forth quite a bit. And some we won, some we lost. I don't exactly know what the end score was between us. I don't think any one of us paid attention at that point, but it was some fun games nonetheless. I experienced a way more effective deck once I started sideboarding discs in against him. I have 2 discs in my Nibenel's discs in my sideboard, and they, as far as I remember, worked wonders for most of the games. So this confirms my suspicion from the last video's analysis that this should be my go-to sideboard option against a primarily white player like this. Otherwise, there's not much to say, as we don't, as so many recordings were lost in this this time. So there's only these 2 games to talk about, and yeah, that's it. And I will withdraw to my cabin in the swamps and return with some more games as soon as humanly possible. Thank you for watching.